Previously on Tone Deaf.
Okay,
Yeah?
why are there vultures in the office?
Happy Feet taught me that the only way to save a species that's in danger, or endangered in the case of these guys, is to do something to make them go viral. Turns out, video games are banned by the twin gods Con and Dor, the Condor gods. The Condor Council has tasked us with tackling Land Before Time, the series.
What's the bad news?
Not counting any patron episodes, The Warrens, and Black History Month. Guess how we get to start next year? We now return you to your regularly scheduled shenanigans. Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd. And this crying, adorable man is Warren, my musically challenged spouse, who, due to a fault of my own, is having to watch the Land Before Time movies. And we're on one of the last of the good ones.
Oh, God. That means they're just, the good ones.
After, I want to say, the next one, it starts getting really stupid, and it's hard to, they become very hit or miss after the next one. And the next one's on the line of, But yeah, this week we're covering Land Before Time 4, Journey Through the Mists.
Like you miss it.
Like mists, as in...
Ah, there's a T in there.
Yeah, there's mists. Mists. Those, no! But yeah, Journey Through the Mists. This one fucked me up as a kid.
Is this the one where Littlefoot's grandpa is sick?
And almost dies? Yes.
I remember... I don't know if I remember watching this one or if I just remember seeing previews or you know how when you're watching an animated video, they'll have previews for other animated videos?
Yeah.
I think I saw it in one of those, and it was Littlefoot on a journey to save his grandfather, and I'm just like, oh boy.
Yeah, no, this one, so it released December 10th, 1996, and it was at this horrible perfect storm of shit for me in my brain, because I was having nightmares every night about something happening to my mom at that time, and I was starting to become aware that, my grandfather will die someday. Probably someday soon. And he passed in 1999, but
so 3 years
by
later.
1996, I was like, my grandpa's sick. One of the only male father figures I have in my life is gonna be gone soon. So then... I'm a kid wanting to watch the fourth Land Before Time, and then I end up depressed, almost out the gate with it.
Too close to home.
Mm-hmm.
See, what was I doing when I was 9? Let's see. I would have been in 4th grade, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been very much into Beast Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything bad was going on in my 9-year-old life other than not liking school, but that's pretty normal.
Yeah. I have a slight hate relationship with this one, even though, like, I do feel like it is one of the better of the Land Before Time movies. I don't like it for my own personal reasons. Plus, I feel like one of the characters that gets introduced for this is a little annoying in these, because this is the one with Allie, the girl Apatosaurus.
I was gonna say, is she Littlefoot's cousin?
I thought so, but I've not seen anything that verifies it, and
Okay.
it's like...
So she's probably set up to be the, how the long necks are gonna propagate their species.
Yeah, and
Because that'll be genetic diversity.
Jesus. It's like Bambi. Here, Bambi, fuck your cousin.
Well, if you insist.
It's
Hey, that's just normal courting relationships in some places in this country.
I still can't believe that they asked us if we were first cousins when we went to get our marriage certificate. Like,
I'm like, do we have... What made me laugh about that, too, I know we've talked about this on the show before, was we have other coworkers who got married in October, like, the same year we did, and they're the same color.
Yeah.
And they're like, they never asked us that question. And I'm like... I mean...
What? What? But anyway, not gonna put it off any longer. This will be a last film for Linda Gary, who played Grandma Longneck.
Oh, did she die or just...
Yeah, in fact, she passed the year prior to this film's release from a brain tumor.
She had recorded it already.
Yeah,
Oh god, that's fucked up. The movie is about Littlefoot's grandfather being sick and almost dying, and then in the real world, the woman playing the grandmother dies.
Yeah. It was one of those like, ooh. And this movie was in production at the same time as the third one, and was originally going to be released first, but they held it back for some reason, and I couldn't find the reason anywhere. I did more digging into this particular one than I wanted to.
So you had to, you were a 90s animation archaeologist?
Yeah, a little bit, and it was a little bit annoying. Did I happen to mention, too, with Kenneth Mars, who plays Littlefoot's grandfather, that he was in Young Frankenstein?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, you did.
I couldn't remember if I had mentioned him or not, that there's that little connection with him for things that you've seen him in. Cool. So I've done that, but then this is also the last film for Candace Houston, who was the original Sarah, and this is actually her last acting role, period. I literally can't find anything about her after this movie.
So you don't know if she died?
I have no idea.
She just dropped off the map?
She just dropped off the fucking map.
She became a homesteader. She moved out in the middle of nowhere and built her apocalypse bunker and...
That or else she's secretly cloning Triceratops, and then one day she'll return with an army of Sarahs.
Hey, Sarah is a racist, so we have enough of those right now. We don't need 10,000-pound hulking behemoth racists.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we did lose Rush Limbaugh recently, so we need to...
Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
Superstar. If you are a Triceratops, you've come too far.
I found my other note on Linda Gary. She was Critterina and Marina in Happily Ever After, the Snow White thing that we watched a few years ago. The Snow White sequel.
Is that the 3D animated one?
No, that was the one where Snow White is being terrorized by the evil queen's brother, who turns into like this bat dragon thing, and He kidnaps the prince at one point, and Snow White has to go find him with the dwarf elves.
Fuck, I don't remember that.
Oh boy, we're doing that one then at some point, because that's a
God.
musical, and I fucking love it.
I must have been so drunk because I didn't want to watch it, and then I was...
Well, and what's funny is that you liked it.
Huh. Well... I don't remember it. Those brain cells are
it's
dead.
It's a very weird movie, but I enjoy it. And she was also Aunt May in the Spider-Man series you grew up with.
Oh.
Yes.
Nice.
So, yeah, so you have heard Linda Gary before, and this is, again, her last film. But we all know why you're here, other than punishment.
Oh, I was going to say contractually obligated.
Yes, we are here for Dino Facts. Pew, 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 pew.
It's a kookaburra.
Kookaburras are dinosaurs.
I guess. Just...
See, look at those beautiful spikes that don't quite touch the top.
And my noise bar even looks like a whale. Look at that.
It does. It looks like a whale.
Look how perfect that is.
Or it looks like a butt plug.
There's two types of people in the world, folks.
Hey, we have not been able to do all of our sexual humor for a month.
You know, this is true. I am surprised I'm not cursing like a goddamn motherfucking sailor at the idea that I have to watch more of Land Before Time.
So, this week, I'm not going to tell you right away what the animal is, because I'm a monster who likes to have fun.
What have I told you about having fun?
Always do it. So, we are covering a species of small, pigeon-sized theropod that is in the Ornitherae clade. It's honestly going to be one of the most basal ones of that clade from what I was looking at. Alternatively, it is one of the first avalans discovered, being closer related to sparrows than to dromaeosaurs. It was discovered in Kansas by Benjamin Franklin Mudge in 1870, and I hate that that is his real name because he was probably looking for something on the back of the Declaration of Independence or some shit when he was finding this thing.
Mudge.
I liked my national treasure joke there.
See, and I heard Mudge, and I'm just like, I bet he was a carpet mudger.
Anyway, this Mudge guy was an abolitionist, and he was friends with Othniel Marsh of the Bone Wars. And Edward Drinker Cope kept trying to get Mudge to work for him, but Mudge didn't budge.
Ha!
I'm glad you laughed at that, because I had a sorry written in there, ready to go. So, this animal gets its name for its vertebrae, which are concave on both sides. Something that's more common in fish than theropods, but it's more noted for its teeth, which are present on the lower jaw and then the middle to back of the upper jaw.
But not the front of
the top jaw. But not the front of the top jaw. It's something kind of unique to this lineage. These were small, non-serrated teeth that were sharp but tilted backwards. And according to Daniel Field with the University of Bath, its sharp teeth probably would have assisted on holding onto slippery marine prey, while its incipient beak at the tips of its jaws probably would have allowed it to manipulate objects with fine dexterity. So
yeah, I'm proud of myself, because when you're describing that, I'm like, that sounds like somebody who would have preyed on small marine life forms.
Yes, it would. And this theropod would have lived near water, probably having a similar lifestyle to some of the ocean birds, feasting on fish and shellfish. And Helena Walker agrees, saying that they were also piscivorous, but she also has a slightly different view of their lifestyle. From her paper on these animals, she says that they were active hunters, and they kind of had a mix of kingfisher and either a gull or a gannet with the form of catching its prey, like it would fly over and then just dive down, and she said that, by her observation at looking at the material, they would have dived head first after their prey. But she had a lot of other things to say about their behavior that I honestly feel is purely speculative. See, she thinks that they would have had sort of like this baby crow-like affinity for shiny objects or new objects, and that they would gather bright objects, maybe because it was fun, or because they had a mate to display to, or because they really, really, really wanted your Ascendant rocket launcher. Do you know which animal?
No, your Ascendant rocket launcher. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wait. Oh, no, come on. Is this Pegamastix?
No.
Okay, then it is...
It's a flying.
Then it's, sorry, you said stealing, but then... Because I wasn't sure initially... God, Ichthyornis?
Yes! We are doing Ichthy-motherfucking-ornis.
Ichthyornis is in this
yes,
episode?
Ichthyornis is one of the two antagonists in this.
You know, that sounds about right. All they do is ever antagonize me in Arc. That's why I kill them on sight.
See, I've gotten really good at tranking them, and then I keep them as a pet and just let them sit down and not do anything and sort of go, yeah, you get to think about what you did. And they look so guilty when they're sitting there, like they have their heads down, just this eyes looking up like, I'm sorry.
No, that's why I carry a crossbow at all times, because I'm really good at shooting those assholes out of the air.
So how'd you like the mix of Arc and real facts?
They were out of this world and on a floating platform in space.
Because I may do that with the rest of these.
You know, you have my permission, because it's a little bit of joy in the hell that is shitty 90s direct-to-video animated sequels.
Excellent, because I already know which one I'm doing for the next one, so... And it's got an Arc counterpart.
I love when Kay asks me questions that I already know the answer that they want.
Well, I mean, it was a toss-up between either do I do the dinosaur that gets introduced, or do I do the non-dinosaur that gets introduced for the next one, and so...
Is Pegamastix in any of these?
No.
Okay.
I wish that it was, but they don't have any heterodontosaurids in any of these.
That's because The Land Before Time has animals from different periods together anyways, but when you said heterodontid, they are earlier in the lineage, right?
Yeah, they would be... Well, these would be... Pegamastix, I think, would be Jurassic. Which, I mean, Spike and Littlefoot are Jurassic, so they could have had it in there and been fine. They just didn't.
Cowards.
Probably because they're a little ugly.
Yeah?
And... They don't, I mean, I think it would be cool. They, finally have some cool dinosaur types in later Land Before Time movies, but they sacrifice, hey, cool dinosaur for, this is gonna be a really fucking stupid plot, you guys. We're gonna have a whole song about stinky water.
You mean diarrhea?
The 14th Land Before Time was a mistake. And I've seen it. I saw it while recovering through. That one's the biggest mistake out of all of them. Because, they could have just ended it with a TV series and been fine.
I'm concerned that we're in the universe that will result in a Land Before Time 25.
Me too.
But it also makes me concerned about Land Before Times 15 through 24. I wish I didn't have knowledge of the future. It's like knowing the date that you're gonna die, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And they're gonna get so stupid. They're gonna get so bad. It's like, no, your series died and should have stayed extinct. But it's not. It keeps being a Lazarus taxon.
Or you put some fucking effort into it, and you make them actually decent.
That's too much work.
That is too much work.
They should have just gone... They should have, like, had Dinosaur Train folks work on it, and then at least made it useful. Anyway, there's one more thing about... Well, there's one more thing about the Ichthyornis character. He's going to be voiced by Jeff Bennett, who also voices Petrie.
Oh, okay.
So you'll probably hear a little bit of that in there, but something major does happen in this movie. Something that shakes the entire lore of Land Before Time, and it was fucking mind-blowing as a kid when I watched it. I lost my fucking shit when it happened.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, then.
Yep.
Some
quos get unstatused.
Okay, then. You may have to point them out to me, because I probably won't.
You'll catch it. They make a big deal of it when it happens, and it's one of those, like, when I picture little Kay watching this, tears have been streaming down my face, and then this happens, and I'm like, whoa! But also, this is still really fucking sad. I'm out of tissues. Land Before Time made me cry again. And not in a good movie.
Yeah, it's not like the first one.
Yeah. So, we've stalled enough. We've dicked around for about 20 minutes. Shall we go and watch Land Before Time 4? Journey through those mists?
Well...
Get that golden flower? Meet a rat?
Oh,
it'll all make sense.
Will it? Will it, Kay?
It will.
When it's all said and done, will any of it make any sense? we have angered 2 condor deities who have told us to watch these. Does any of it make any sense, Kay?
I don't know.
We're in the bad universe, Kay.
We are.
Nope.
Well, we're not in the bad universe because we're still here. We're still here.
Okay, we're in the 5 degrees off of we're not in the worst universe.
We're in Universe Prime. We're in the Prime universe, and then the other one was the Kelvin universe. And
I guess we better go watch this before the angry condor gods peck out our eyes for insolence.
Yep. So let's go watch Land Before Time 4. Hey Warren.
Hey Kay,
Do you know what time it is?
is it time to thank our Patreon sponsors?
It is!
Woo! We would like to thank our stage crew sponsors, Jeff, Reagan, and Jasmine Wu.
And our producer circle sponsors, Jesse, BeAnArtsHero, and Taylor Brandt.
Thank you all so much for your continued support of our show.
We truly appreciate it.
Do you want to touch a pulsating blue cube?
Do you want to turn into an animal but for only 2 hours?
Do you sometimes want to be a bear and feel the power?
Are you afraid of slugs crawling into your brain? Do you remember the 90s?
A little bit.
Remember those books with kids turning into animals?
I do.
We're reading every single one.
Join us on our journey with Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
You can read along. You don't have to read along. We'll read for you. Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
And now, the lights are going down and the music's starting back up, so let's head back to the second act of our show. So, how was that journey through the mists?
I'm really concerned about how you were talking about that 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think maybe 5 are the good ones, and then they go downhill, because I remember watching 2. For me, 1, top tier.
Oh yeah, 1
2
is the best.
2, 2 is like it's hanging off of the ass hair of 1, and it's still connected to 1 tangentially, but it's hanging by some pubic hair. Everything after that are just turds on the ground for me. Mm-hmm. And knowing that they only get worse is concerning.
And I guess I'm being a little harsh, because 7...
No, you're not. You're not being a little harsh.
Well, 7 is interesting, at the very least. It's still stupid, but 7 is interesting.
The thing that I've noticed the most about what we've watched regarding them is that the animation is not terrible.
Yeah.
The animation is pretty standard direct-to-video animation, and I don't think that it's bad.
Yeah.
The music and the songs are bad. Some of the voice acting overall isn't bad.
Yeah.
But it makes me more and more upset that they are musicals, because I'm like, take away the musical part of it and just make a better story, and that would be better. Because let's be real, I know the whole reason that they try and do musicals is because then you can get royalties and sell the songs separately and make money that way too. So it's all about the bottom line. The problem is the songs are not good enough to warrant buying a soundtrack to listen to it.
I will say that out of all of the sequels, though, this one is the most classically musical. Like, just on the music alone, take out the lyrics, it's very much like they watched a Cole Porter musical, but it was kind of like they played telephone. Because they played telephone through a muffled speaker, so it was really hard to hear exactly what was being said. Like, there's 2 songs in this that feel like they would come from a musical, and if you did a rewrite, they might be better.
You know, the song later on with the 2 villains arguing when we first meet them?
I like that song the most out of the songs in this.
Yes, I would say so. It's not... It could be better.
Yes.
Because they are trying... They're pumping these out once a year. Every year. They're pumping one out every year. And so they're not putting the appropriate time into it to make it good.
Yes.
So it's like every song is a first draft, and they went, yeah, that'll work. It's like there's no TLC put into it.
Yeah.
And that is what bothers me.
Yeah. It's definitely that period of time when they started going, just set your kids down in front of it and it'll be fine. And it's like, I think that's what upsets me the most with these, is that I can sit there and see how they can improve. Yeah. And it just takes, in this one, it would take maybe a couple of rewrites to make it decent. And it's why I got mad at Avatar. Not the Last Airbender, and not the Last Airbender movie that we don't talk about. I mean James Cameron's
Blue Space Monkeys,
Blue Space Kitty, Smurfy Cats
yeah, that's right.
Avatar.
Blue Monkey Smurfy Cats.
That one could have done another rewrite, and it would have been stellar to me.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Get rid of the stupid white savior bullshit, and it could be a good movie. And also change unobtainium to something that sounds cooler. But with this, the reason why I feel it's one of the last good ones is because it's one of the last times that we actually have high stakes for our characters.
Fair. There are definitely high stakes in this, and because I will give that point.
The only one after this that has slightly higher stakes would be the Great Long Neck Migration, and that one's not even high stakes. It's just that it brings in a type of family drama almost that I thought was pretty mature for one of these movies.
That's fair.
And when we get to that one, we'll talk about it, because that was another one that, like, I was very much like, this could have been so much better. And I will say that in the lineup after this, 7 and 10 are my exceptions to the Land Before Time gets shitty after video 5. Like, really shitty after video 5.
I mean, that's fair. Because the thing is, you've seen the other ones and I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know you've talked about. The thing is, they all mix together because there's fucking 14 of these.
Yeah. I unfortunately remember the beats to each of them because that's how my fucking brain works.
The only series that I want to experience 14 of is the Wheel of Time, okay? Yes, they may be long. Yes, they might ramble sometimes. But you know what? The world building is on point.
The Wheel of Time 14. The Wisdom of the Great Flyers. I don't know. It's
Called Memory of Light.
I know, but I was trying to make it Land Before Timey. And I just mixed, like, 3 Land Before Time sequel names. The one with Microraptor made me really mad.
Sorry, and then my brain started thinking about the fact that there will be a live-action TV series, and I'm thinking about at one point where one of the characters goes to a museum in a big city, and they describe seeing bones of animals that aren't real, and speculating on whether or not they are fake. And it's making me think about, are they going to have dinosaur bones in that? And I'm like, that would be cool. Or are they going to be
cool.
different kind of animals that we've never seen?
Because, I mean, it's a cyclical world, so
Yeah.
it could be dinosaurs. But enough talking about a better series. Let's talk about this childhood destroying.
And it's interesting hearing you talk about it, because I know that as bad as it is objectively from an art standpoint, you also still love them.
I still love them just because I am so hungry for dinosaur content where dinosaurs are not monsters.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the only thing that I will argue is that I hate theropods being monsters, but the next one kind of fixes that. But that's just because we have theropods around now.
Yeah, and some of them are monsters.
Yeah, but they're cute, and when they are monsters, they puff up their head and their eyes pin, and you're like, you're adorable, even though I know you're gonna take off my finger.
I think the only reason that you think that is because you're not small enough for them to murder you with their face.
That's true.
If you were smaller than them...
Oh, if I were smaller than them, it would be more that, like,
Monster.
This is a really cool thing, but it can stay all the way over there. Like, I would love to see a T-Rex. For real. Like, not just the skeleton. I would love that. It would scare the fuck out of me.
I think everybody would love to see a T-Rex. Are you kidding me? It would blow minds across the globe.
I would especially love it if they have, like, some of that ostrich fluff. Just kind of like how elephants have very little hair on them, but they still have hair. I'd love to see that, but with a Rex.
See, I want to see Rexes with, like, the display feathers, like a cockatoo and stuff
that
like that.
would be cool. But...
I think that would be dope. That would be...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Wow, okay. Let's get back on point.
Yeah.
So... okay. So, I apologize, good and wonderful listeners. We are talking about, in case you've forgotten due to our ramblings, The Land Before Time 4, Journey Through the Mists. Alternate title, The Land Before Time 4, Littlefoot Looks for Dank Kush.
It's medicinal.
Hey, I'm not... hey, medicine can make... Man.
Legalize the golden flower.
Legalize... After the title card and a fish swimming by, we then see a school of fish swimming by. Then a leviathan swims by and chases the fish. We get our new narrator talking about before all the things that we like and have now, the greatest of all creatures were the dinosaurs. Make creatures great again.
No!
But climate changes, as we are seeing now, and dinosaurs were having a bitch of the time with this climate change. Despite the changes happening in the outside world, the elitists in the Great Valley are perfectly fine and unaffected by the troubles of climate change in those third world dinosaur locations.
It's Dinosaur Park, like Rat Park. It's a behavioral sink.
No.
That's why the movies get stupider.
There you go. There we go. It's just cycles of inbreeding, and they all get dumber and dumber.
Spike is one of the beautiful ones that's only interested in eating and preening.
Sounds like a life.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We then see Sarah knocking down a bunch of leaves out of a tree, and Ducky is like, "Good job. You hit that tree super good. Yep, yep." And then they go to eat the leaves that have fallen down, and fucking Fag is in the middle of the pile of leaves, munching them. Where the fuck did he come from? Was he in the tree? Or was he underground and came up through the ground into the pile of leaves? Just another mystery of dinosaur behavior lost to the distant past.
So, little known fact about stegosaurs, and I'm not putting stegosaurs into our dinosaur facts just because they're a stock dinosaur. Everyone knows about stegosaurs except for this. Stegosaurs had this uncanny ability to just materialize wherever food was. Like, they would phase in kind of like Moses's brother in Green Pastures.
Oh, there you go. See, I was thinking that maybe he was in the tree, but he was one with nature, and so when Sarah hit the leaves, he was the leaves and came down with them, and then he materialized.
That does make sense because a raven became a pine needle and was swallowed by a chief's daughter, and that was how he was able to be born as a baby, and then he got the son from the chief's daughter and turned back into a raven and put it in the sky.
Makes as much sense as a burning bush.
Speaking
of burning
that is
bush,
one of my favorite stories, by the way, because I love seeing Raven portrayed that way and not like, "Oh, I'm a big spooky bird." Brr.
Well, I mean, in the Borderlands, there is an active bounty on ravens. Always. Their eyes for the Dark One. Okay?
We are always mistreated.
It's because you're black.
Don't get me started on the misconceptions of awesome black birds.
Because you're carrion eaters and you feed on death.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Someone's got to do it. Anyways, Baby Steps comes into the scene, and he's being chased. He's chasing a bug, and he finds his way into a cave, and then out of the cave. And then he sees a new herd of longnecks thundering their way into the Great Valley. Baby Steps goes to ask his grandparents what's up with the other longnecks, and they're like, "Oh, they're your cousins. Have we never mentioned them before until now? Huh, funny that." As the longnecks are leaving the bath that they're in, so Grandpa and Grandma Big Steps are bathing in a lake. Because, you know, nothing says hygiene like shitting where you drink.
We all know what that lake was.
Sex lake.
That was a sex lake.
See, that's why Grandpa Big Steps passed out, because he's too old to be nailing Grandma like he used to.
The golden flower is actually
Viagra.
Yes.
Now I can fuck your grandma for another few decades. Look at this apatocock. Yes, as the longnecks are leaving...
She's gonna be a brontosaurus.
By the time I'm done with your granny, she'll have a brontosaurus. Don't mind her walking bow-legged. Our necks are not the only thing long. As the longnecks are leaving the bath to go meet their migrating herd and cousins, Grandpa falls over and is all sad-like. And they're like, "Ah, are you okay, G-Paw?" And he's like, I'm fine, and gives some very unconvincing smile to reassure his wife and grandchild. Anyways, they go to greet the other herd, and a really bitchy, crabby granny longneck is like, "Is this place safe? Is the climate stable?" And the others are like, "Yeah, it's a paradise." And then grumpy longneck is like, "Good, for now at least. Who knows if your perfect little valley will change or not?" And then she gives an exposition about how their lands have changed, and they grew wet with water that fell from the sky, which caused lots of rain flooding everywhere, and then strange creatures moved into the neighborhood, and the property values declined. So they were forced to relocate before the neighborhood became full of immigrants.
So it's white flight. Which they are lighter skinned than Littlefoot and his family. So.
Racism never goes away, it just changes forms.
I will say I like her character design because she's got like that scar all down her face of like claws coming down.
And she's extra wrinkly.
Yeah, it's very cool the way that the migrating herd dinosaurs do have like different things that show we're traveling all the time.
Well, what made me we'll get into that because that's a dumb plot point in regards to them being like, our lands are not good anymore. Because it's like, if you're migrating, then anyway. After the exposition, the others are like, okay, well, that sucks that your lands are no longer good to live in. You can stay here with us, I guess. And Baby Steps asks his fam if he's going to have to move like the other longnecks. And they're like, nah, this place is the tits, yo. The others tell Baby Steps that they're glad he's not moving, because they'd miss him. Yep. And they're like, right, Sarah? You'd miss the main protagonist too, right, Sarah? And Sarah is like, I can't have emotions other than anger. And she runs off, chased by the others. Baby Steps gives chase, but then gets distracted by noises because of his walnut-sized brain. But then he finds the source of the noise, a slightly pinkish longneck who is his cousin and has longer eyelashes to show she's a girl. And half-closed lids giving him bedroom eyes, indicating that she's a girl. For Baby Steps, it's a little creepy because I don't like the way they animate female animal characters when they just have like extra long lids and they're at half mast.
Yeah,
because that's a very alluring gaze.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it if it's an adult creature.
Sure,
I'm okay with it that way. But this is a baby.
It's a baby, and I feel like the color difference was enough. You didn't need to give her extra eyelashes.
Yeah, no.
And colored eyelids. Did you notice that? Her eyelids had like a purple metallic mascara sheen.
It bothers me because A, not how sexual dimorphism works in archosaurs, but B, like, if anyone's going to be more flamboyant, it's going to be Littlefoot.
Because he's got to attract all the bitches.
He does. He is a...
Anyways, the two baby steppers are like, let's go play! And they go running off to play some babyfoot game. The other dinos and dino-adjacent characters corner Sarah and pummel her into admitting she'd miss Baby Steps if he ever had to leave the Great Valley. The baby steppers are playing and laughing, and the others are like, holy shit, there's two Littlefoots. Because apparently all Apatosauruses look alike, Ducky.
Who's the racist now, Ducky?
Baby Steps tries to introduce his cousin to his friends, but Cousin Foot is also a racist, just like Sarah, and is like, but I can't play with small-necked freaks, they're lesser beings. And she runs off. Baby Steps is like, what? And goes after her. The others are like, oh, sad, she's scared of us. And Sarah is like, no, she's a stuck-up racist bitch who thinks she's better than everyone. And the rest of the group are like, yeah, Sarah, who would dare be a stuck-up bitch who thinks they're better than everyone and says they don't associate with those outside their kind? Sarah, who would do such a thing? Sarah. Anyways, Baby Steps gets ambushed by his horny cousin who is like, it's better if we play just the two of us. And Baby Steps is like, I'll go get my friends and we can all play together. Cousin Foot is like, no, just us. Fuck those lower life forms. And the two frolic and play and laugh. And are seen by Sarah and the others who are like, gah, how dare Baby Steps be racist and not want to play with us? What kind of shitty character would openly talk about being superior to others and not wanting to associate with them due to how superior they are? Sarah? Who would do such a thing? Sarah? Anyways, the band of ignored friends get upset and leave the two long-neckers to their cousin fun. Which, cousin fun sounds wrong when I say it out loud. Hey, Kay, you want to go have some first cousin fun? Anyways, the cousins...
We are not first cousins.
We were asked if we were when we went to get our marriage certificate.
I don't understand.
Imagine that. We need a piece of paper to say we're married. We can't just go, this is my wife. This is my husband. We're together.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we need pieces of paper for all sorts of stuff. Latte's right. The certificates are stupid.
Yeah.
No more food certificates.
Yeah.
Everyone be taken care of. Eat the rich.
Anyways, the cousins are done with their cousin fun and head back to their families. But Grandpa Big Steps is laying on the ground, all sad and ill. The others are murmuring about how it doesn't look good. Baby Steps is like,
"Why is G-Paw sick? He said he was fine. Did he lie? Did G-Paw lie to me, Grandma?"
The old grumpy Longneck is like,
"I've seen this before. It can only be cured by the golden petals of the night flower. It's some primo super day kush, yo. One nibble and you'll be tripping for days. Oh, and it will heal your grandpa, but only if you act quickly."
G-Ma Big Steps is like, "Who will take me to the flower?" And everyone is like, "Not us. We don't stick our considerable necks out for anyone." And they really apologize and excuse themselves from the family deathbed and are like, "Yeah, we really, really wish we could help, but we just choose not to. Thanks for letting us live in your lush valley, by the way. This place is great. Who knows what we would have done if you didn't let us share this lush green valley. But yeah, sorry we can't lead you to the magical medical flower to save this kind Longneck who said that we could live here in this lush green valley with plenty of food and no predators. It's just a huge inconvenience for us at the moment to take you to go get the flower."
If you think about it, though, the Great Valley probably could not support that herd for a long term.
It's a big fucking valley.
It is a big valley, but, I mean, the amount of food that they have to eat, it can support a family of 3 long necks and maybe one other long neck family that we see during a musical number, but that's it.
I think that is wild speculation based on nothing but your attempt to justify why this shitty plot hole makes sense.
Well, because normally they would have migrated anyway. They wouldn't be sticking around in one place.
But the whole reason they went to the Great Valley is because the whole world got fucked up, and they were like, "There's no food, we're all gonna die." But there's this magical, faraway land full of lush green food called the Great Valley. And that's the thing that makes me wonder, too, is it's like, the whole, like, shit is getting fucked up. This period is supposed to be like the decline of the dinosaurs, and so the Great Valley is like the last bastion of hope for herbivores, and then these assholes are somehow migrating around and having a merry old time.
So I think that part of it is because science kept marching on, because they started realizing, oh, well, yeah, climate was changing, but it was like, especially more recently, where they're going, actually, things were starting to go on the upswing for dinosaurs, and the only thing that kept them, like, the only thing that led to their demise was a big fucking rock hitting at just the right time. Because, yeah, we're having more volcanism, but that's also putting more nutrients into the ground, and it's changing the climate in a way that dinosaurs were adapting to pretty rapidly, and being like, oh, okay, well, I'm the progenitor to birds, so I can do ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, and every time something dies out, something else fills in the gap. So even if things would have been dying due to volcanization, there still would have been life flowing. It took God throwing a stone.
Yes, because in future movies, there are a lot more green areas, and you kind of sit there and go,
Why are
you staying in the Great Valley? This is a fucking behavioral sink. And they kind of explain that really the reason why they're in the Great Valley is no predators and not abundance
Except all
of
the time
food.
that predators come into the Great Valley.
Yeah, it's really like the migrating long necks have the right idea. Because right now, they're just in a salad bowl.
Migrating sounds like such a pain in the ass.
It's one of those things that sauropods were better off migrating, because you have, especially in the first movie, you've got a really good example with that herd of Diplodocus that come through and eat all the leaves on that one tree. That's basically what, like, if a whole herd of longnecks stayed in the Great Valley, then it would be basically stripped of all of its trees after a while, because
Great Valley is really big, though.
it's big, but they're sizable.
It's not just a valley; it's a great valley.
Yeah.
Make the valley great again.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, it makes sense why there would be migrating herds, because that's a thing that group of dinosaurs would have to do, to, like, basically move to one area, eat all the food they can, move to another area, eat all the food they can, figure out where they're going to have their babies, because it's like wildebeest and other animals that migrate, that they just have sort of a pattern that they go in. So the Great Valley's probably just a nice resting place, and then they move on to their next spot, which is probably like a mating ground or something like that. The most unrealistic thing is that Allie is traveling with them, because she would be left in a thicket.
That's right. They abandon their young to basically just be by themselves and eat until they can
leave the forest.
Because they're big enough that nothing's really going to mess with them.
Yeah, and so that's why it makes more sense for a migrating herd than it does Littlefoot and his grandparents staying in the Great Valley forever. Because eventually, Littlefoot's gonna have to leave if he's gonna want to get laid.
Yeah, he's got a cousin who's giving him bedroom eyes. He's gotta not mix those genetics and just keep it all in the family. Keep his bloodline pure, if you know what I'm saying.
They're gonna. I have some words for that.
Just trying to make that walnut-sized brain smaller. Anyways.
That you can only pack neurons so densely.
G-Pod gives Baby Steps the, "If something happens to me, you're going to have to be the man of the house" talk. And Baby Steps is like, "What's a house? Never mind. not important." G-Ma Big Steps tells Baby Steps that they're just going to have to hope that the circle of life is merciful and doesn't take your G-Paw away from us. If only someone was brave enough to go and get that special healing flower. If only someone was brave enough. Anyways,
or stupid enough.
It's time for a terrible song, and G-Ma sings a shitty song about the circle of life and how with each new generation, a new circle is complete. It nurtures the young and murders the old. It's magical, this thing called life.
Yeah, that song reminds me of, like, I don't know, it reminded me a little bit of the old Charlotte's Web movie, but not as good.
I just felt like it was a bad plagiarism of
it
Lion
was,
King.
But it reminded me of, we'll watch that one eventually for this show, because have you seen the old Charlotte's Web?
Long time ago.
It reminded me of one of the songs that Charlotte sang, complete with it being sung by a contralto, which, props for that, but just shittier lyrics. Because these people can't write lyrics. It makes me so mad.
That's what I mean, is like,
They can't write lyrics.
I swear that every song is a first draft. And they don't hire, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like that the budget for these movies was so small that it was just there's no TLC is what I've hammered that point multiple times, and I don't need to keep talking about it, because otherwise it'll just be going, why isn't this as good as the other?
They don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't go chasing. Actually, they do go chasing a waterfall.
That's true.
We'll get to
do.
That. G-Ma, after singing her song, then cries anime tears as she tucks Baby Steps into his dirt bed. Baby Steps can't sleep, though, with the impending death of his grandfather and all. You know, might make it a little hard to put your mind at ease and drift off to sleepland. He's like, I'm on a mission to save my Gramps from that circle of murder. And then he scampers off to his cousin to ask for a guide to the dank kush so he can save G-Paw. Cousin Steps is like,
No, it's too dangerous. There are monsters in that land of mists. Oh, yeah. That's what our old home is called, because all the rain and shit, the land of mists. I think that got, forgotten to be narrated in the earlier part. But it's the title of the movie,
They
so it's
do
kind of
narrate it.
self-explanatory.
The old...
yeah, that's what I forgot
you
to,
forgot
I
to
forgot
narrate.
to say it.
Okay.
Baby Steps is like, this is like the 4th adventure I've been on. I'll go get my friends, because they have experience facing certain death. This will be no problem. And Cousin Steps is like,
No, your friends are inferior specimens. If we take them, they'll only get in the way of our supremacy. It will be better if we go, just the 2 of us.
and she leads him away.
It's so weird, though, the way that they set her up as a love interest, but then mention that they're cousins. Like,
I mean, it would be different if it was just, it's another herd of long necks.
Yeah,
And just, we don't know these long necks, but hey, we're all long necks. Like, welcome to the Great Valley.
Especially because of a later movie that establishes other long neck herds. It really bothers me because...
Again, no TLC.
It's like the Bambi thing where Bambi bangs his cousin.
Ugh.
And Lion King.
It's a lot
Simba
more common
bangs his half-sister.
A lot more common in the animal kingdom, because...
Yeah, it is, though with lions not, and I can get into a whole thing on why the Lion King is just a ticking time bomb of genetic bottlenecking.
Well, and that's the issue, too, is with, animals will breed with who is available, so if you don't have enough genetic diversity, they're going to breed with their relatives, their immediate family.
And it just, it's one of those things that, especially when they establish that there are more long necks around and more long necks of the same species in different families, it just makes me go, come on, could you have not tried to shoehorn in a hetero-romantic thing with Littlefoot and his cousin? You could have had a completely unrelated little girl long neck, and that would have been fine.
Yep.
But also... we'll talk about it later, I'm sure. I realize that we've been sleeping on a ship.
I make some comments about that later because of the conversation that you and Shay had when we were watching this. One thing I want to make a comment, though, is for whatever reason, this line of conversation regarding Baby Steps and his cousin reminds me of a former coworker I had who was telling us that we should watch Sword Art Online, but we should stop at a certain episode because then it just gets very Japanese. And I don't know what it is with Japanese anime and their fascination with kissing cousins. Like, there's so many shows that have, like, a romance or a forbidden romance between cousins.
I was not prepared for that when we were watching Sword Art Online, so it would have been nice if he had said, like, hey, just so you know, there's kissing cousins, because, like, at first I'm like, oh, that won't... Of course it's going to be for this one culture. It's made by this culture. It'd be like saying, oh, don't watch this American show because it gets too American. But then it's like, oh, you mean cousin fucking.
That's what made me laugh. He says it gets way Japanese. And I was like, what? Then we get to that point where we're like, oh.
And of course, I haven't watched nearly as much anime because... My experience is very limited, so, like, I haven't seen as much of the kissing cousins stuff.
I've seen it in a few.
But I just... That took me off guard. I was like, what? No! Mm-hmm. No!
Yep.
Where's my cool fantasy stuff? No!
Yeah.
I don't need kissing cousins.
No.
I don't.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. The next morning... the dinos and dino-adjacent characters are like, where is Baby Steps? Probably making Rule 34 with his stupid racist cousin. But then they hear G-Ma Big Steps crying out in the valley for Baby Steps and being like, oh, he must have gone after that dank kush. He's so brave, brave, and not dumb at all. We then see Cousin Steps stepping along as they lead baby steps across some rocks and into a cave atop a waterfall. They went chasing waterfalls. Which leads me to wonder how the fuck the herd made it through that ceiling of the cave, which is too damn low. But whatever.
Yeah.
There is a red-eyed croc in the cave water, lurking and waiting to eat the baby steppers. The cousins think that they've found the way out, but nope, it only leads to a pit of certain death, and an echo, echo, echo,
This
echo.
scene. Fuck this scene.
To which Baby Steps is like, let me reuse this shtick of talking to my echo for a little while as I shout over and over, and somehow cause a cave-in. That shit works for avalanches, but not in caves. Lazy direct-to-dino VHS writers. Anyways, there is a cave-in, and Cousin Steps leaves Baby Steps for dead. I mean, goes to get help, and Baby Steps is trapped with the red-eyed croc, who is, still chilling in the water, I guess, waiting for a more opportune moment with which to eat Baby Steps. For some reason, it is not right now when Baby Steps is separated and alone.
And knocked out.
Stupid predator. I mean, they do explain later that that one has bad eyesight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, you see them in the water looking, so it's like,
Yeah,
you know what direction they are.
Their characterization of Deinosuchus really bothers me, but...
I don't think that they were saying the Deinosuchus all had bad eyesight. I think they're saying this particular one had bad eyesight.
But, like, even then, I'm kind of like, they still have a good sense of smell, they still can feel vibrations with...
They still would hear. They would still know that there was something. And
there is a reason that they were amazing predators.
And that's the thing is, like, the way that they show it, too. There's a pile of rocks blocking Baby Steps from getting out. And then immediately behind him is this water in which a croc is lurking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's literally cornered.
Yeah.
Literally cornered. But anyways.
So stupid.
G-Ma Big Steps catches the Dino and Dino-adjacent party members up on the G-Pod deathbed situation, and how Cousin Steps is missing too. The child adventurers are like, we'll go save him, and G-Ma Big Steps is like, no, promise me that you won't go do this dangerous adventure. And all the Dino and Dino-adjacent party members cross their fingers and legs and lie to the adult.
I liked that.
I've never understood the logic behind that somehow it's okay to lie if you cross your fingers. It's like it's like a magical gesture that somehow makes your ego satisfied with lying.
Double crossing someone.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it somehow justifies it. It's like, ha ha ha, you didn't see that I had my... See, Kay, little do you know, when we were taking our wedding vows, I had my fingers crossed.
See, and that's... The way that they use it in this is more of like the little kids holding it behind their back, but like...
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a good thing to do that.
I would like to see that argument used in court. Your Honor, I did not perjure myself. I had my fingers crossed.
I'm sure that would work out real well. Actually, for some people, it probably would.
Sounds about wealthy and white. As the group of grumpy, lying children are bitching about Baby Steps not asking them for help, Cousin Steps comes into the scene to be like, Baby Steps is trapped. I need your help. And Sarah is like, what if I don't want to help? What if you're lying? I'm the racist dino, and I don't appreciate you stealing my gimmick. It's the one thing I'm known for in this series. And the others follow Cousin Steps, while Sarah sits and pouts. Meanwhile, Baby Steps is trapped and tries to push rocks, but he fails, like a failing failure who fails. And he decides to go walk around. Someone is stalking Baby Steps, though, and Baby Steps is on the edge. But then he gets ambushed by a sea turtle.
Yeah.
In a cave.
Yeah.
Sea turtle.
So many better ways to introduce Archelon.
How did that sea turtle get into the cave? Up a waterfall.
Big
What the
shrug.
fuck movie? Saltwater creature, saltwater reptile in a freshwater cave.
Big shrug, W.
Anyways, Cousin Steps is leading the rest of the group to the waterfall. And see, they're chasing waterfalls. And we see Baby Steps and Archie, the fucking giant cave sea turtle. Oh god, I wonder if he knows John, the giant pink sea snail.
Why?
Do you think... How old is John? Do you think John knew Archie? Maybe it's John's fault that Archie got trapped in this cave. Our listeners will have to find out in the next story about John, the giant pink sea snail, as he lures Archie to the cave of immediate death. Oh, sorry, the cave of inevitable death.
God damn it.
It's still in the brainstorming stages. But be sure to look for it this Easter season in all of book retailers that sell imaginary books.
Oh my fucking hell.
But yes, Archie, the fucking giant cave sea turtle, is trying to move rocks, but they're both useless. Especially Archie, because he's a sea turtle in a cave.
Ugh.
Anyways, we see Cave Croc, whose name is Dill, gets a bird landed on their head, whose name is Icky. Icky. And the two sing a song about how much they hate each other. But for some reason, they have to work together, because Icky has the eyes and Dill has the teeth. And they hate each other. They keep singing about how they don't need one another, and then they break up, and then walk away from one another. But then Icky sees food and goes and grabs Dill's nose and is like, okay, we're friends again, because there's a giant sea turtle in this cave.
And that song is one that has the most potential.
I will not disagree with that, because I could see that song, you know, the same dynamic being used in a completely different show.
That is so similar to stuff like, we have some of that with Cole Porter. We have some of that with, when we watch the movie Annie Get Your Gun, well, musical Annie Get Your Gun, but there is a movie version that we can watch. There is a song that you know, but you don't know it's from that has a similar feel to Icky and Dill's dynamic, except a lot more friendly. But, like, that's the way that they wrote that. It's one of those, like, wow, this almost was a good musical.
That was almost a good musical number.
Yeah, almost a good musical number, but it made you go, wow, there was potential here. There was potential, and they wasted it.
Yeah.
Because even lyrically, that one, like, it's kind of dumb, but I can kind of forgive it because this is written by people who think that they know how to write for kids and they don't. And so I can forgive it a little bit with the lyrics on that one. It was mostly a bunch of plays on words. It was the one that made me go, y'all could have pulled out better lyrics out of your ass, and you didn't for the other two songs, which the last song is the second best in this show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of any of them because I've seen good musicals and I've seen good animated musicals.
Yeah.
And so I look at this and go, this is just, okay.
This is better than other Bluth animated sequel properties, though. That Screams in Balto 3.
Anyways, so yeah, Icky goes and grabs Dill, and they're like, okay, we're friends again, because there's a giant sea turtle in this cave, and baby Longneck, so of course we should kill and eat this complete plot abomination. Baby Steps and Archie keep trying to move rocks, and then they hear Baby Steps' friends on the other side of the cave-in, and as the friends are calling to one another, they cause another cave-in. Another cave-in.
Mm-hmm.
Another cave-in! It's at this time, Dill and Icky make their move to attack Baby Steps and Archie. Archie helps Baby Steps hide inside of a crevice, and Archie just hides in the water with his shell exposed, pretending to be a rock.
What I hate about that is that they have him tuck himself into his shell. That's a thing that separates sea turtles from a lot of other species. They can't do that curling into their shell. That's not part of their defense mechanism. Sea turtles... Just... You can't tuck those flippers into their shell. Their shell is part of them. It's why you don't paint turtle shells, because it's literally part of their back. And it's why, like, you don't, like, whenever you hear people, you know, oh, I stepped on a turtle shell, I've seen that before, and it pisses me off. Folks, Kay here. Don't be a dick to turtles. Turtles have been here longer than you. Turtles are better than humans. This is a K fact. I love turtles.
K fact. It does make me think about when I learned that, because for the longest time I always thought that turtle anatomy, like their spine was under their shell. It is under their shell, but I didn't realize that their spine is at the top of their shell. So if you crack the top of the shell, it goes right into the spine.
Yeah.
There's not like an inch of bone or whatever before
or fat or
anything that, before it gets to the spine. It goes right into the spine.
Yeah.
So
it's why it infuriates me, A, bad turtle anatomy and stuff, but B, the way that people treat turtles, because they are amazing little critters, and I love them all.
Turtles are cute.
They are perfect.
I like tortoises
I still think about the sea turtle at the aquarium that I worked at, who had a bubble in her butt.
Yeah, and had to have a weight on them. I still think about, was that the same sea turtle that photobombed us when we were...
Yes.
Yeah.
Wilson.
So side note, when Kay and I were getting married, we got married at a reception area in the local aquarium, and they had a big, huge wall-sized
I worked.
plexiglass thing. And as we're like taking our vows and stuff like that, the sea turtle came up to like, and so we've got pictures of us and the sea turtle like, what's going on? What you doing?
She's a sweetie, and she likes lettuce, and I love her. Anyway, on to a inferior sea turtle. Being chased by an inferior Deinosuchus.
Yeah, so we were at Archie just hiding in the water with his shell exposed, pretending to be a rock. Dill and Icky find baby steps, because of course they do. And he's just tucked into the wall. And they try to get him, but can't quite reach. Dill then starts to thrash about, hitting the cave wall, and causes another cave-in, which... At least it's not from sound this time.
Yeah.
It's from them actually smacking the side of the cave wall, which would cause reverberations through the stone, which actually could dislodge other stone. Because that is how physics fucking works.
Stalactites are fucking dangerous, y'all. It's why I always freaked out whenever field trips would go to Timpanogos or Cave of the Winds in Colorado, because it would just be like, I know what these can do, and it's like icicles, but worse.
But heavier.
Heavier icicles.
Instead of piercing your head, they will just smash you into oblivion.
And pierce your head.
Yeah, but, smash you into
They'll
oblivion.
do both. They're efficient like that. They'll leave a paste.
Red mist. Anyways, Sarah enters the scene, rejoining the group and acting like, I'm here to save the day with my hard head. Cousin Steps is like, can I help? And Sarah is like, yeah, stay out of my way. And the gang smacks and throws rocks out of the way. Dill finally breaks enough of the cave wall away and then goes to eat baby steps, but is stopped by Archie, who after his power nap decides to try and help. But instead, it's the children who scare off Dill, and Icky too, I guess. Archie and Baby Steps give the other children some exposition and get all caught up. Sarah is like, you should have asked your real friends for help. And Archie is like, Nightflower, you say? And all the others are like, we haven't mentioned that yet. And Archie is like, well, it's a good thing I know a shortcut to the land of mists. Because of the writers, these movies don't give a fuck for anything close to a coherent plot. Anyways, Archie leads the group to a secret cave exit that goes right into the land of mists. He then tells the child band of child adventurers to be careful and stuff. Then he goes back to his cave, where I guess he'll die alone. Enjoy that fresh cave water, you giant reptilian asshole.
I feel like they hit this point in the movie and went, oh shit, that's right, we can only have this be under an hour and a half.
Right? Yeah.
Because they could have done more in the Valley of the Mist.
Oh yeah,
Which
I
would have
was
been
hoping
really
they would have
cool.
done more in the Valley of the Mist, but they spend a good third of the movie in this fucking cave.
Yeah.
With an animal that doesn't belong in this fucking cave.
Yeah, it's kind of a issue that these movies have sometimes, is that they spend so much time getting to where the journey is supposed to take place, or the adventure or whatever, that it's like, yeah, sometimes the journey or the purpose of the journey isn't the destination but is the journey. Not in this case. In this case, I would have loved to see more about the Valley of the Mist. I would have loved to have seen, like, other weird dinosaurs in the Valley of the Mist. Granted, in later movies, you're going to get more interesting non-stock dinosaurs, but still, like, they could have done that with this one in the Valley of the Mist.
I still laugh that the other dinosaurs had to leave the Valley of the Mist because it was too wet. When I'm just sitting here like, you still had green food to eat. Yeah, there's like other dinosaurs in your territory now, but you're a fucking long neck. Nothing messes with you because you smash it to shit paste. Onward, the child group immediately hit a snag when Sarah gets scared by a widow snake. A pack of Gallimimus-like dinosaurs rush the group and leap into the water to escape a Packy whose skull bashes and drives off the children. Yes,
Did
Kay?
you recognize those, though?
No.
Those were Struthiomimuses, as in Ozzy and Strut.
See, okay,
From the second movie.
Then I did recognize them, and it was just, I couldn't remember their type, so but I could remember Gallimimus. And
Yes,
I knew
that's
that,
true.
I knew that they were Gallimimus-like.
Yes. But they were specifically drawn exactly like Ozzy and Strut, because lazy.
Stock animation. I mean,
Yeah.
they already had a design, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that they would just repeat it.
I didn't like that they all had the same
It was copy
scowl.
pasted. Yeah, it was copy pasted. But I mean, unless you have it's the same thing. Like the Packy that they show is like the exact same Packy design from the first movie.
Yeah.
So and they don't have any difference because they're not essential enough. They're just there to cause a reaction from the main characters who do matter.
Yeah. When I see other things where they do have variation, I get angry when they don't do variation on background characters, because then I'm like, come on, you showed me that you could. Do it here.
Again,
Don't be lazy.
Again, it's, this was probably, I bet you these movies were made by the company that made the lowest bid.
Yes, and I will give them that, especially because this was one of the only things keeping Universal Animation afloat, from what I could tell, was this stuff, because the American Tail sequels didn't do well, neither did the Balto sequels, but these, because of people like me who thirst for dinosaur content, then
It just frustrates me. The reason that a lot of stuff doesn't do well is because they don't put the effort into it to make it good. And then they go, well, we can't make these movies because people aren't going to buy them. People aren't buying them because they know that they're shitty. It's like you have to put TLC into your product if you want people to care about your product. That's just how it is. For the most part.
I probably shouldn't mention with American Tail, actually, because American Tail did have a TV series for a while that was kind of fun. From what I remember, it's been a long time. But
Size
Balto
and American
didn't.
Tail.
Yeah, I love American Tail. The third one's crap.
I actually haven't seen. I've only seen this first two. Anyways. Yeah, the Packy who scares off the children, who then try to hide by a tree, which is infested with our great 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 grandfather, a rat-like creature who squeaks and squeaks, and Ducky is like, yay, I want a cute pet. But instead, they're like, no, tell the rat to find Sarah. and Grandpa Rat climbs a tree and squeaks out Sarah's location. But Sarah dumbfucks her way into falling into the river via a crumbling ledge, and the others have to grab a vine and use it as a rope to fish for Sarah.
In the live-action remake of this, the rat's going to be played by Danny DeVito in a rat costume, and it's going to be amazing. Hey, I'm Tickles.
Hey, can I offer you an egg in these troubling times? We stole it from a nest.
Oh, this is your sister? This is awkward.
Nom. What sister? The gang is pulling Sarah out of the water into safety when Icky swoops in to be like, "Nyah, thanks for showing us the shortcut. Nyah. I'm evil." And then he bites the vine and releases Sarah into the water, where Dill is waiting. Dill tries to chomp Sarah, but misses and gets a mouthful of log. The kids start throwing rocks off the ledges and pelting the child murderers. Cousin Steps goes to help, but falls and knocks herself out. Dill and Icky decide to go after her instead of Sarah. Icky dives at her and lodges his head in a tree. Cousin Stepper jumps on Dick. Cousin Stepper jumps on Dill's back and uses that bitch like a boat, swinging her tail towards Sarah, who grabs it with her non-existent opposable hands and climbs aboard the crock boat. Dill then crashes into some large tree roots, and Cousin Steps and Sarah scramble up the tree, being like, "Belly draggers can't climb trees because they're inferior to us master racers."
Even though we're all archosaurs. Which I do love that you have two... Well, Icky's not a surviving lineage of bird, but you've got a bird and a crocodile that are your antagonist with their other relatives, and it's kind of a cool thing, and also cool because birds and crocodiles still have symbiotic relationships.
Yeah, now that you're talking about that actually is an interesting plot point to bring out, because, Icky uses Dill as the muscle to kill the food that Icky finds so that they can both eat. And then, of course, anybody who's seen the pictures of the birds that pick food out of crocodiles' teeth in Africa.
And if crocodiles eat those birds, then all the other birds let the other birds know, and then that crocodile is going to have bad teeth for the rest of its short life.
Sarah and Cousin Stepper come to an understanding, and then Sarah immediately shouts to the others, "Cousin Stepper and I are friends now!" And they all cheer. Then they cut to them all walking and Cousin Stepper giving their exposition that they just never grew up with anything but long necks, so that's why they're a racist. 'Cause, yeah. But then the whole gang sings a song about how it takes all types and takes all sorts, and how they're all friends now. Which that song is probably... It's serviceable. It just like any of the others.
It's inoffensive.
It could be better. I'm like, there is an attempt to have like a moral for children in there, but it's not flushed out enough for it to be memorable.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the whole point of having a song in something is that it resonates well enough that you carry that song outside of what you're watching.
Yeah. And it's also something that a musical director that I worked with once is that your songs in non-sung through musicals are basically like the ultimate expression of whatever emotion. Like, you hit a point with an emotion that you can't do anything else but sing it. And these don't do that.
No, because a lot of the singing, so it is done better with the villains earlier.
Yes.
But then again, at least one of those, help me with her name.
Dill?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Tress MacNeille.
Thank you. Who is a fucking goddess of voice acting.
Yes, I love her.
Tress MacNeille is amazing. And her character, her character acting is pretty good. I mean, her singing is okay, but that's kind of the issue with these songs is that they're always kind of done at half enthusiasm, so it doesn't feel like they genuinely feel what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And, it could also come with the smaller paycheck, and so they're like, well,
yeah,
this gets half energy.
And, like, for Tress MacNeille voicing Dill, I think that Dill, it works that she doesn't sing well because her voice is kind of a...
As a gruffer.
Yeah,
I'm a gruff crocodile.
And so it works there, and same as with Icky, like
His is
like,
more nasally.
yeah, and it's like their villain songs are just always, except for the egg song that I don't really like, are always better than the rest of the songs in the movie.
I guess that's fair because the villains are always different, and the villain has a motivation that's usually to kill, you know, and the heroes, their motivation is usually like, friendship is good,
Yeah.
being nice is good.
Yeah, and there will be a song in the next one that the our baby group sings that is decent and is probably one of the ones that makes me go again, you have all this potential. Look at all of the potential that you have wasted.
I'll be the judge of that.
I'm not saying it's a good song. I'm just saying that compared to other songs, it's better. And
It's not a flaming pile of dino shit, but it's more of a smoking pile of dino shit.
I am happy, though, that they have, with this one, villains that actually... like, villains that are actively hunting the kids that talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually they don't. Usually it's just growls and stuff, which gets explained in the next one. But up until this point, your villains didn't speak. And, like, except for Ozzy and Strut, who were hunting an egg.
Yeah, they were going after an egg. Like, when it comes to raptors and... well, when it comes to sharp teeth in general, they don't talk. Which, you know, I know you've said it's going to get explained.
Yeah.
But, know what I'm having very intrusive thoughts right now. I'm having a very hard time thinking about the Land Before Time without thinking about that wonderful piece of artwork that Tyler from Animorphing Time
God damn, Tyler.
shared.
What the fuck was that?
Where it was
who gets that tattoo?
it was Sarah getting Eiffel Towered, basically, and
By Littlefoot and Chomper.
mission accomplished, Tyler. That is
It lives
living
rent-free in our heads, Tyler.
It's squatting in my brain, and every time I try to get it an eviction notice, it pulls a gun on me. So... I'm glad you like that. Just the image of, like, trying to tell this thought to get out of your brain, it just pulls a gun. I will kill us both and then burn this brain
Here's
down.
the issue. Is Chomper is the one holding the gun because he has hands. But it's that image holding the gun.
Oh, God.
Let me finish.
Oh. We're gonna wear this bitch out. I called some friends to come over. Okay. Wow. Dark turn. Okay, let's get back on the track of this roller coaster of mediocreness. The scene cuts to Dill, who is being yelled at by Icky to get him out of this tree he's stuck in. Dill frees Icky with some chomps to the tree, and the two set out in pursuit of their baby food. An undisclosed amount of time later, Dill and Icky are both bitching about being tired, and Icky is like, "Good point. I'll nap on your back while you run into everything because your vision is terrible."
Because she says, I want to rest the eyes.
Yeah. I just need to rest the eyes. But Icky is the eyes. And so Icky sleeping on her back, it's like, I'm sure that while I'm sleeping on your back, you'll run into everything because your vision is terrible. I'm sure to get a restful nap that way. And Dill proceeds to trash talk Icky as she smashes headfirst into every object on her path.
One of these days, Icky. One of these days.
Pretty much. We cut to the baby gang, who are also bitching about how far they've been walking, and they decide to make camp and snuggle, prompting an interesting conversation between Kay and my sister Shay about Rule 34 regarding these child dinos and how the internet is a dark cesspool that must ship everything.
Now, Rule 34 is just for porn. It is just there. If it exists, there is porn of it. We were not talking about porn. We were talking about shipping, which can be a variety of things. You can have non-sexual ships.
Okay.
Which...
Let's put it this way. The ship is an actual boat in a harbor. But once that ship goes out to sea, the sea is Rule 34.
And the ship, because they're children,
The ship
stays at the harbor.
The ship floats on Rule 34. See, for you and Shay it did. But for you do not control the harbor and all the other docking ports and the ships being constructed on it.
That's true.
They will go out into C-34.
But like, seriously though, internet, y'all been sleeping on a really good women-loving women ship. Because I've seen a lot of Allie and Littlefoot, which, again, cousins. I've seen a lot of Sarah and Littlefoot, which, when I was a kid, yes, I was like, there is some chemistry there. But it took realizing that, no, the actual chemistry in this is Sarah and Allie.
I think there's too many people in the world who have attractive cousins that they secretly think about banging.
Yeah.
Which is really baffling to me because I have some very attractive cousins.
Oh, same.
And I can look at my cousin and go, you're a very beautiful woman. But you know what? You're my cousin.
Exactly.
Stops there.
Yes. And
See you at the next reunion, cuz.
yeah. Or not, because I don't go to reunions.
Well, I mean, I don't either,
but like,
mostly because I can't handle being around my attractive cousins. Joke.
But like, it's one of those things where Shay and I were talking about it too, is that girl ships are less common than either male-male ships or male-female ships. And so that's probably why people been sleeping on it. But like, Sarah and Allie are the ultimate enemies to lovers.
Oh, ultimate enemies to lovers. Sorry,
Yes.
I thought I my brain heard that and computed it incorrectly.
We also decided that the ultimate bro TP is Spike and Petrie.
Why?
Because they just are.
Okay.
And also because I feel like, Petrie probably has a little bit of a thing for Ducky, and Spike is like, well, you like my sister, and my sister's amazing, so I'm gonna keep you close so that you don't fucking hurt my sister, because I have a thagomizer, and I will pummel you to death.
I will shrike you on this tail of mine, motherfucker.
But then, Sarah and Littlefoot is also a really good bro TP, as is Sarah and Ducky.
I don't like how much we're talking about ships.
Bro TP is the best friends. It's like, basically, you see these two people as like Turk and JD. They are connected at the hip. They are best friends. They are ride or die friends. That's bro TP. Bro TP is completely non-romantic. It is platonic. It is the purest ship. Because then it's just friends. It is a friendship rather than a relationship.
It's theropod love, that's all it is.
We're not theropods, but you're an ornithopod and I'm a sauropod. And this one is a ceratops. Anyway.
I get words mixed
Spike's a thyreophoran, and Petrie's not a dino. It's dino love between two dinos.
Thank you for that lovely musical number, Kay.
Rawr.
Anyways, in the middle of the night, Fag wakes up and sees the dank Kush night flower and licks Ducky to wake them up. Ducky then wakes up everyone else and they're like, holy shit, we're in the middle of an entire field of dank golden Kush. Yup. And they frolic and trip balls. We then see the gang with a fat stack of golden flowers being like, we have to get back before it's too late. And then Dill and Icky jump out all, surprise, bitches! We're here to eat you!
Surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker! And they all run. Icky manages to snatch Petrie and is like, I'ma eat this chicken nugget all by myself cause he's too small to share. And Dill snaps at him, trying to eat them both. The rest of the gang, hiding behind a nearby rock, are like, what do? Should we leave Petrie to his death and leave with our dank Kush? and great granddad
Tickles.
Rat, squeaks and then runs out from behind cover over to the giant croc, grabs the tail, pulls it, and then places that tail into Icky's mouth, which I guess forces him to bite down on it and hurt Dill. To clarify, the rat saves Petrie by grabbing a crocodile tail and putting it into a bird mouth.
Yeah.
Now, when an animal, even like that crocodile, like, my brain really glitches on this part because, like, even just the not engaged muscles of that tail would be way too much. That tail weighs more than that rat's entire family living in that tree.
They're trying to do a old cartoon shtick, but it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Like, we've seen this before in countless Hanna-Barbera things with...
and Looney Tunes and Disney
and just, putting a tail in another thing's mouth to bite it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, and the thing that made me laugh, too, is the way that the crocodile's facing. The crocodile tail is not that flexible to do the maneuver that they did. And the fact that it just runs up and shoves the tail into Icky's mouth, it's like, if that would work, if you just shoved it in your mouth... there's no reason you would bite down.
No.
And, like, just that whole, I hate how much I am focusing on that.
Well,
I hate how much.
Because they took a really tried and true animation trope and fucked it up. Because they didn't, they took something that couldn't move. Because they tend to try to make dinosaur and crocodilian and etc. anatomy work right, but in doing what they did, that breaks their anatomy rules that they've already established.
And the thing that I don't like too is when you see a character do a feat of impossible strength and they don't even seem to be struggling to do that feat of impossible strength.
Yeah.
I can't remember what cartoon it was, but it was the same kind of thing where you see like a mouse grab a cat's tail, and I remember seeing the mouse put the cattail over their shoulder and like carrying it like you would if you were a human trying to carry another human that was incapacitated.
That might have been a Tom and Jerry. Which, again, y'all, Tom and Jerry did it right.
Yeah.
These folks don't.
But yeah, same kind of thing. It's like, I get, I need to, why do I do this to myself, Kay?
Well, because we have seen animation for kids do things correctly. And this has a higher budget than TV animation, and they do it wrong, and they break their own rules without having because you can break rules, but you have to know how to do the rule before you break it.
I have a theory. I have a theory, and I think this theory is correct. The reason that these are so bad, I would like to journey to the internet, which we can do later, and find out how much the CEO of Universal's animation studio was making at the time, because I would imagine that motherfucker was collecting a huge fucking paycheck.
Oh, probably.
Based off of these movies. I'm like, imagine that the budget is like, this massive chunk is for this cock waffle, and then the rest is for the entire musical.
No, you're probably 1,000% right, which sucks, because it's depressing. It's depressing that he...
Because I love the original Land Before Time. I don't want to hate these sequels. I want to like them as much as I like the original. But they're not giving it their all. They're not putting their heart into it.
Yeah.
It's first draft from wall to wall, more or less. And when something is done right, it's more of a credit to the performer performing it than it is to the material they're performing.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Anyways... The icky-biting Dill confusion helps Petrie escape, then regroup with the others. They all run and hide in some nearby trees, and when Dill and Icky complain that they got away, one of the children giggles...
Sarah.
...and gives their location away, and they have to run again. As they're running, one of the night flowers falls out, and Ducky goes to grab it, but the bad guys are right on their tail. Ducky screams and runs with the flour, but Itchy snatches Ducky up and tries to carry them off. Petrie dashes in, and Icky and Petrie pull the Ducky and try to tear her in half. Do you notice that? Like, they're stretching her.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy
That
fuck.
happens to her a lot. And
Ugh.
it's really upsetting how much abuse this tiny dinosaur gets.
You know, oh my god. So Ducky's family, like, they always have lots of children. So Ducky is the Kenny of this series and just dies every movie, and we don't know it. It's just a new Ducky that replaces them.
Oh my gosh. Sooner... Ducky's Mysterio.
There you go.
I can't die. Yup, yup, yup.
They're like, what are you talking about, Ducky? Ducky gets pulled free of Icky, but not pulled apart, and falls into the water and is knocked unconscious. Dill surfaces with Ducky on their nose and is like, sweet, this one's mine, and throws Ducky into the air in order to catch them into their mouth. And as Ducky slow falls, the entire gang is crying her name. Ducky! 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 Wake up, Ducky! You're going to get eaten alive! And it's at this time that Thag, the strong silent type, cries out, Duck! Duck! Duck Newton! Ducky! And only his voice seems to be what wakes up Ducky, who sees the open maw of Dill below her, and as she grabs at a tree branch and narrowly escapes death. The tree branch then reverberates and smacks Dill 12+ times and flings Ducky up and to safety. Icky gets smacked out of the air and falls right into Dill's mouth. Icky cries out for Dill to not eat them and gets spit out.
What I love is who smacks Icky out of the air.
So I missed that. I thought it was
It's Spike.
Oh, okay.
Spike is, because he's like, don't fuck with my baby sister, or with my older sister, but, I mean, he's giant, so he's got that.
Size comparison.
Must protect Tiny. And I love that they actually have him use his tail like a Stegosaurus would, but of course he's a baby, so it's not a impaler yet. But that fucked me. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, holy shit, Spike just talked. Are we gonna have... Too bad his voice kind of sucks, but are we going to have Spike talking in the next movie? Like, do we get to hear Spike's inner thoughts now? What's he been thinking this whole time? Because he's capable of speech.
The plot will be revealed.
It will, but only in the TV series.
Did you say there's an episode in the TV series where it's all from his perspective?
It is my favorite episode, because you get to hear him just being like, all I want to do is sit and eat. And everyone's like, let's go on an adventure. I don't want to go on no damn adventure. There is a leaf right here with my name on it. And you're all taking me out somewhere where there's danger and sharp teeth, and I just want to eat. I have to gain another 1,000 pounds in the next year. Y'all know why I'm staying so tiny? Because you're taking me everywhere.
Yeah, it's always crazy because vegetables are low calorie, so... Anyways, so yes, Icky falls into Dill's mouth. Icky cries out for Dill not to eat them, gets spit out. Icky then yells at Dill for almost eating them, and the two break up again. Dill goes to swim away and runs into the Loch Ness Monster, who tries to eat Dill, and Dill then swims away, crying out for Icky. Icky!
Who she batted away like millions of miles.
Yeah, she yeeted his ass.
And of the two, only one will come back.
Icky?
Which you can extrapolate what happened to Dill at the end of this.
Nessie had a croc snack.
Yeah, because I think it's Hydrothesaurus or Hydrotheros. I'm not good with the marine reptiles, but that specific one absolutely would have eaten Dill. And could have very easily.
And then she migrated to Ireland, or Scotland, one of the lands, and... Scotland! It's Scotland. My bad. I apologize.
Well, I mean, this is in America, so she could be Tessie, the Lake Tahoe monster.
Touche.
Especially because they are in the West. So she is Tessie.
There we go.
Tessie ate Dill.
But what we don't know yet is that there's secretly an underwater cave system that connects Lake Loch Ness to that.
And
they just go back and forth, and they do photo ops at both.
So I'm gonna hate myself for this later, but you know who takes the tolls in that underwater tunnel?
Who?
John. The giant pink sea snail.
John, the giant pink sea snail.
In his adventure.
In his adventure of how to tax the ever-loving shit out of marine reptiles.
Now available on tax day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so our heroes welcome Ducky back from the brink of near death, and Ducky is like, I thought I heard Thag. Or, I thought I heard Thag. And they're like, yeah, you only seem to care about his voice, so how about you only talk to him from now on? Huh, Ducky? And the gang sets out to go back home. They get back to the Great Valley and stuff some dank kush into G-Paw Big Steps, and G-Paw trips balls, but eventually gets better and is like, oh, I had the strangest dream, and you were there? And you were there, and you were there, and I'm extra hungry. Does anyone have nachos? It's at this moment that Cousin's family decides, well, it's time we leave this literal paradise and go wander the world again, uncertain of where our next meal will come from, since we've already mentioned that our previous home is now too wet for us to live in for some reason, so I guess we'll go wander the wastes in hope of finding a place to survive, 'cause we're a migrating herd and we can't not migrate, so bye, y'all.
You know what it reminds me of, actually, thinking about it, is the different types of orcas.
Oh, and how
because
they learn what to eat, so you'll get orcas that are migrating that eat sharks, and penguins will be like, holy shit, they eat us! And the orcas are like, why are they running?
Yeah, and so that's probably a similar thing, is that, like, these cousins are just so used to, we're always on the move, our father's fathers moved, our father's father's fathers moved,
why do we do this?
Our father's fathers moved.
Why do we do this? Because tradition!
Tradition! The Brontos! The Brontos! Tradition!
The narrator then comes in to be like, our heroes will meet Cousin again, but that's a story for another time. And then Kay is like, yeah, no, the cousin is in the TV series, but we don't see her ever again in the movies, even though there is a movie all about migrating herds.
Yep.
Anyways, Warren's final thoughts. This movie sucked. The animation was fine, the voice acting is fine, the songs suck donkey balls, as always. The story makes no sense, as always. Why do they turn this series into a musical? Why not cut out the songs and spend more time on the plot? Anyways, another Land Before Time down. The end.
Yep. And we've got 10 more to do. And the TV series, probably, because...
Kay mentioned that the other night, y'all, that it's only one season, so, And
the only reason that we would need to watch the TV series is because the 14th Land Before Time has a character who you do need to see the TV series to know her relationship to the other characters, and also to know how much better she is in the TV series than in the 14th movie.
So if we do that, what do you think the timeline is for doing movies between, or doing the TV series and then the movie?
TV series would be after 13.
Okay, so it'd be watch them up to 13, watch the TV series, then do the 14th movie?
Yep, because the 13th does not have any impact on it does not have any of the same impact on the 14th movie that the TV series does. TV series does take place in between the two, chronologically, because there's fucking chronology to this.
No, there isn't. I mean, they were released at different times, but there's no rhyme or reason about what happens between the movies because they contradict themselves constantly.
Well, okay, so for our main 5, there's not much, but that for our our secondary protagonists, Chomper and Ruby, there is storyline.
Who's Ruby?
You'll meet her in the TV series, and she is so cool.
Okay.
I love Ruby in the TV series, and they waste her in the 14th movie. The 14th movie should have been about her and her family, not what it was about. It was so... The 14th movie was a mistake to watch during knee surgery recovery.
Especially because you didn't have any opioids, so it's not like you could trip balls and have a good time. You just had ice and ibuprofen.
Yeah. The Animorphs TV series was so much better of a choice for the first part of knee surgery recovery. That was so fun to watch while I was just in pain and just like, I remember this.
Oh, it's okay. I would ask you what our next show is, but I don't give a shit because I know what it is.
Yeah, it's Land Before Time 5, The Mysterious Island.
The Mysterious Island.
Mm-hmm.
The Mysterious Island.
And I will give you one thing about The Mysterious Island. Guess who's back?
Well, I already know.
You already know, but
it's Chomp.
It's
Chompy Boy.
the best boy. It's the
Chompy
best
Boy.
little boy. He's the sweet boy. The sweet, too good for this world, bilingual dinosaur boy. Because this one goes into dinosaur language.
Maybe T-Rexes could swim with their tails and their big legs. I don't know. I don't know. Elephants can swim. Maybe Rexes and Brontos and Apatosauruses could, all those big predators and stuff could swim too. But the reason I'm asking this is because they had to get to that island some way.
And if I remember right, they talk about how they got there.
Was it swimming?
No.
Was there a land bridge?
I think there was a little causeway, because I think the big reveal of this is that the causeway gets destroyed after the kids cross it.
Oh, so they're trapped on Predator Island.
Mm-hmm. A very short-sighted island.
Well, I know all I need to know about that film.
No.
I guess we can move right on to the 6th.
Nope.
Ah, balls.
I like the 5th film because it goes into dinosaur linguistics a little bit, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for things that, go, hey, you just didn't know that they actually do have families and talk.
Yeah,
because I love theropods, man. Theropod for life.
Woo!
Roar. So anyway, next episode, Land Before Time 5, The Mysterious Island.
Yay!
So thank you all so much for listening. Hope that you enjoyed our suffering. I know I didn't.
If you'd like to reach out to Kay and I, you can do so on our home base, which is tonedeafmusical.com. There we have links to all of our social medias, our Facebooks, our Instagrams, our Twitters, as well as a link to the Cast Junkie Discord server where we have our own Not Safe for Work channel. Please feel free to jump in, say hi, share pictures of your pets, talk about musical theater, or just whatever.
Yep, and if you want to help out the show, you can do so by going to wherever you listen to your podcasts, clicking on those stars, or however they rate it. If it's stars, if it's juniper berries, I don't know why I said juniper berries, I guess for Pinecast. Ha 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 ha! God damn it. But you can give us a 5-star review, say anything you want in the comments, within reason. You could say, your favorite dinosaur. What's your favorite dinosaur? I will love to hear that, and I'll sing about your dinosaur on the next episode if you say your favorite dinosaur. Or if you mention Latte, she gets a cookie. If you want to go above and beyond, you can check out our Patreon, which is Tone Deaf Musical. There we have different tiers where you can get bonus episodes, you can get a mention on the show, you can even have us read a message for you. If you want a more tangible way of supporting us, you can hop over to our TeePublic store and buy yourself t-shirts, masks, phone cases, stickers, all sorts of shit. Anyway, thank you again so much for listening. I think that'll be all for this episode. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
And this has been Tone Deaf.